of his committee.
Okay, go ahead. You got your mic on, Mr. Clay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a grant from the federal government, and I'm opposed to all grants from the federal government. I don't care what they're for, so.
Thank you.
That's the reason.
Okay, is that it, Mr. Helms?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, see no discussion. Let's vote on C now.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton. Samuel Newton. Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
17-1.
17-1 passes. At this time, we'll move to public comment. Anybody in the audience that wants to make public comment, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead up to the mic and state your name and Mark, will you turn that on for me?
Just turn it on? Or no?
Not the mic, no.
No.
the camera.
Please. Okay.
Hi, my name is Shannon Finn.
Talk in a little closer, please.
My name is Shannon Finn.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, county board members, thank you for your time. Just a brief comment. I'm just making the county board aware of continuing and unresolved issues with the Uphold RV Park SUP and site plan approved by the zoning board on May 12, 2022, and the county board on May 19, 2022. And to let you know that I will continue to work with the involved boards, committees, departments of Stephenson County, as well as outside agencies to address these concerns. I appreciate any suggestions and support you as the board members can offer, and I thank you for your service to our county. Thank you. Okay,
thank you very much. Anybody else want to make public comment that's in the audience at this time? Okay, I'm going to go to Zoom now. Anybody in Zoom, please raise your hand. Okay, somebody raised their hand. Who's that again?
Is that
Oh, Monroe?
Monroe?
Monroe. Mr. Monroe?
Wasn't me.
Wasn't him.
That was the cursor of the mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see anyone.
Okay, anybody on Zoom that wants to make public comment, raise your hand. Who's that up there? Yeah.
Jim Hart, I don't know if that's a raised hand.
Okay.
No, I think that's just.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item. Approval of an appointment to fill a vacancy in County Board District C. I have worked with the Democratic Party on securing a candidate to bring forward to the board. This person is well qualified, has been previously on the board at one time for 4 years. And I'd like to get a motion to approve Debbie Devine as for County Board District C.
So moved.
By Ms. Anthony, second by Mr. Rohr. Any discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jogers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Brian Brandt. Pardon me, Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
19-0, that passes. At this time, would Judge Ball and Ms. Devine come up for swearing in, please?
Are you ready? Yes. Raise your right hand if you would. Repeat after me. I, Deborah Devine,
I, Deborah Devine,
having been appointed
have been appointed
to the Stephenson County Board District C
to the Stephenson County Board District C
in the County of Stephenson,
in the County of Stephenson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of
the Stephenson County Board
the Stephenson County Board
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Okay.
I'll let them get signed in here. Mr. Bush, if she needs to know how to run the mic and stuff, we can show her later if she wants that. Come. I have an extra packet for her.
Oh, I just gave him
Oh, okay, I had one up here, okay. Okay, at this time, we'll move on to the zoning report. Ms. Henning, come up, please.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The monthly meeting of the ZBA was held Thursday, August 11th, 2022, and we had a full quorum. The first hearing of the evening was for a special use to allow for an established landscaping business located at 2604 North AYP Road, Freeport. Testimony was given by Kevin Kramer, and with a vote of 4-0, the ZBA recommends approval by this board.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Helm, second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion?
No objections?
No objections.
No discussions, I see. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Scott Helms,
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr,
Aye.
Mark Diddens,
Aye.
Garrett Miller,
Aye.
Jerry Clay,
Aye.
Samuel Newton. Samuel Newton,
She lit up when she was talking.
Ronnie Bush,
Aye.
Deborah Devine,
Aye.
Rebecca Quavo,
Aye.
Charles Hilton,
Aye.
Casey Anthony,
Aye.
Dale Diddens,
Aye.
Kurt Copeland,
Aye.
Erica Monroe,
Aye.
Ron Flegel,
Aye.
Calvin Wire,
Yes.
Barry Jokers,
Aye.
Nicole Baker,
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
The second hearing was for a special use to allow for a single-family dwelling in the Ag District located at 6798 South Lauren Road in Pearl City. Testimony was given by Mr. Massley, and with a vote of 4-0, the ZBA recommended approval by this board with the following conditions. He must install a new septic for the proposed dwelling, and he must abandon the existing septic or receive approval from the Environmental Health Department to continue use.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bush, second by Ms. Bradshaw.
Any opposed?
No.
Thank you.
Question, is it a remodel or a new?
It was technically an illegal dwelling put into a pole shed that was cobbled together extremely unsafe. And the septic was an illegal septic. The health department never went after them for that. for some reason zoning office didn't go after it as well for the illegal dwelling, so he's using the current septic in the gutted structure now and will be building a new weekend home more up in the timber.
Any more questions? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deborah Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Alvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton. Samuel Newton. William Hadley.
Yes. 19-0. Okay, anything else?
The board decided more time was needed to review the two presented amendments. They will reconvene this Wednesday, August 24th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Mr. Clay, go ahead.
What are the two amendments?
The two amendments were for the campground, recreational vehicle parks and campgrounds to more or less put a little bit of restrictions on them for quiet hours, since we are having issues with the current campground. We figured there need to be a little bit more stricter things for that. Also the size, depending on acreage, how many campsites can be per acre, so it's not too overpopulated. And then the other one is for battery energy storage for wind and solar power. I did my due diligence. They just wanted to check into it some more to see if they could come up with anything extra, since battery energy storage can be quite hazardous to the surrounding community.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll be moving on to unfinished business. Accepting the 2021 audit as received and laid over at the July 21st, 2022 County Board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Mr. Helms, a second. By Ms. Monroe. Any discussion on this? Did you get any questions from any of the board members, Ms. Newcomer, on this?
No.
Okay. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton. Samuel Newton. Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deborah Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle. Aye. Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Alvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Aye for Newton as well. I apologize, I have a bad connection where I am, but aye.
Okay, 20-0.
Okay. 20-0. Okay. At this time, we have approval. Okay. Approval of HD 2214 intergovernmental agreement with Winnebago County. Motion to approve.
So moved.
By Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Wire. Discussion on this.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Okay, go ahead.
one thing of concern, we approved the intergovernmental agreement after having it gone over by Mr. Larson as well as our liability folks. We approved it out of our committee only to have Winnebago County reach out and ask for one word change. Dale forwarded that on to the state's attorney, so assuming that was okay with the state's attorney, we should have a good agreement here.
Well, I better take a look at that then.
Okay. It specifically dealt with repayment. We had asked for including reasonable attorney fees. Winnebago County had asked that we exclude that.
That should be fine.
Okay. Then I would like to make an amendment to to amend that to reflect that, so that we can go ahead and get this approved.
Okay, what was the amendment on, what's the wording?
In paragraph, or in section 5, under indemnification, where it says in parentheses, including reasonable attorney fees, it should say excluding attorney's fees.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Mr. Clay. Any discussion on the amendment? Madam Clerk, call roll on the amendment, please.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deborah Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Coqueen.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Eldon Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, now approval of the amendment to the original motion. Go ahead and call roll, please.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deborah Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle. Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Coqueen.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Eldon Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll move on to the chairman's report. I have quite a few things to say here. First, I want to start on the water and sewer project, Mill Race Crossing. Things are coming along fine, but we have one holdout, and we're addressing that issue at this time, and it'll possibly have to be brought to the board next month on this holdout out at, along the water and sewer line for Mill Race Crossing. So I just, but everything is on schedule. The surveyors are out doing the work from Walnut Street to the holdout, and then from Mill Race Crossing to the holdout. And we're, like I said, we're working through this, and this is a decision that cannot just be made by myself. This would have to be a decision made by the board, and probably might have to go into executive session. I had talked to the state's attorney in reference to this. So this is the update, but don't fear, things are moving along just fine, and I think we should be able to settle this holdout before the next board meeting so I can bring it in front of you. The next thing is I have mentioned a second tour of Ingrown Farms because some people could not make the tour the first time. So we do have a date of September 7th of 2022 at 1 o'clock. I have invited the City of Freeport aldermen and staff to join us. So we do have a list that Ms. Newcomer is keeping in our office at this time. And so if anybody that did not make the first tour and they're interested in the second tour, please get a hold of Ms. Newcomer. We'd like to turn in that list around September 1st, so it gives time so we can get approved through the state of Illinois. And I know the city council is going to be looking forward to making this tour also. The next thing I want to talk to you is the job readiness program that we used to have through probation services. Since Dr. McGee took over as the new director, they had to table the program for the time being due to staff shortages down there. As you know, this is a program that's very dear to me, that I've worked very hard along with Greater Freeport Partnership, myself, in probation services. And I have talked to Dr. McGee in reference to this, and we have companies that are asking, when will this get started back up? The Illinois Department of Corrections I've been in contact with, and the Federal Parole Agency I have been in contact with also. This was people that we were allowing into this of returning citizens. It's a 4-week program, so I have reached out to the Executive Director of Goodwill Services out of Rockford, Illinois, and we do already have somebody from Goodwill that works in our probation office 2 times a week, and it's Miss Collins, and Collins, yeah. And I have discussed with her boss, the executive director, if Goodwill could start this program up with the assistance of who we had involved before was Highland Community College, Greater Freeport Partnership, and I'm trying to get this whole team put back together so we can get these returning citizens that want jobs into the workforce, because we have many jobs. So hopefully I have a meeting in early September 13th with Dr. McGee and Goodwill Services out of Rockford, and the Workforce Connection was also involved. And this was a program that was recognized by statewide. Tom and myself were on a call one time about this program, and so just trying to get the program started again. Hopefully this looks like a good fit for Goodwill. They do work in the Winnebago County Jail. They have showed that they would like to work in the Stephenson County Jail. So when the new sheriff starts, eventually they would like to talk to him, and I know they have reached out previously to him. It is a great program, and they have staff shortages down in probation services. The next thing I wanted to talk about is that, as you know, we are a member of the Illinois Association of County Board Members. Coming on August 25th, I am a member of the legislation committee. We will be meeting to talk about different legislation for next year. And I don't know if any of you board members got an email from the association, from Kelly Murray, in reference to proposals that will be due by 5 p.m. on November 15th, 2022. This is the new General Assembly, 103 General Assembly will be meeting this spring, and the 2023 policy platform proposals have to be in by that date. So, as you know, the state statute is, we have a section in the state statute for county government. And if you feel, we've always tried to work and mirror the same way that municipalities work. And so we've been very successful with both of our associations. So I will have Ms. Newcomer send this email out. And if you think anything that we need to change in the state statute, we'll give you the information where to send this to, and then our committee will eventually look at this and recommend to send on to the legislators in Springfield. So hopefully we'll get this sent out, and if you think of anything, I'd appreciate there's like a link and everything that you fill out a form and stuff like that. So the next thing around, I want to thank Ms. Anthony for services up to the administration committee, And Ms. Devine will serve on court services and planning and development. And that was the changes for that, and I appreciate somebody volunteering to move so we could work around the schedule. The next thing I wanted to talk about is that the board, okay, let me look here. Just recently, I've been meeting with the mothers from Dakota, and they've been talking about the Board of Health and how they could submit, people to get on the Board of Health. So recently I worked with our county administrator and our IT person and myself to come up with something that is going to be on the county board website now under county board. It's called Boards and Commission Appointment Form. And so if you go to the county board website, scroll down, you'll see boards and boards and the commission appointment form. You fill it out and then it gets automatically submitted to me along with a resume, and then I would keep these on file. So this will help us find people for, like, for instance, the Board of Health, the Board of Review, the Mental Health Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Jane Addams Trail Commission, the Peck Prairie Trail Commission, and I'm still working to see if we have the right to do the appointments for the Emergency Telephone System Board 911. And I just got confirmed through the state statute that the County Farmland Assessment Review Committee would come through as an appointment of the county board chairman with the approval of the county board. So I just want to let you know we're trying to get aggressive, like we kind of based it some off the city of Freeport, and Boone County has these on their website. So if you know of anybody that is interested in serving on any of these boards that I talked about, have them go to the county website on the county board and submit their form, and it'll be automatically sent to me. So that leads me to the next. On the Board of Health, recently we had Cindy Lauer resign off the Board of Health, so we have an opening. And also, there was a name left off for the appointment. When I brought the three names in front of you, there was supposed to be a fourth of appointment, Bobby Yount. And I had to notify her to let her know that her term expired June 30th of 2022. So she wants to be interviewed by the committee that I had sent up. And so there is 2 openings now to the Board of Health. And out of respect, we will interview Bobby Yount because she wants to be interviewed again. And then we have another opening. I did here recently get a bunch of resumes for the Board of Health, and I will be looking at them, getting them sent out to Mr. Helms and Mr. Quinn, so we can fill these 2 vacancies in September and bring them forward to the board for their approval. The next thing is, if the persons that attended UCCI, if you looked at your check, you should have received mileage for 86 miles for $53.75. If you did not receive it, let me know. We'll look into it. UCCI just did send us a reimbursement check for everybody that attended UCCI. So on your last check, you should have received $53.75. If you have not, please get a hold of me. And that's all I have for the chairman's report. Any questions, Mr. Clay? Go ahead.
I know that you answered it
okay
later on when in your discussion.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fleegle, go ahead.
Unless I missed it, what time is the tour for Ingrove Farms?
September 7th at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you'll have to be out there. Just get a hold of Miss Newcomer if you want to be put on the list, then, please. Because we have to submit the names to the state. Okay, Mr. Mark Gibbons. Or no?
No, it's me.
Oh, okay, I gotta get those names switched around. Okay, Mr.
I just
Dale.
wanted to make one comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
If you haven't toured Ingrown Farms, I highly recommend that you take the time to do it. The guy that runs the place is very knowledgeable, and it was very enlightening, so I would recommend that you take the time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I see none, let's get back to the agenda. Appointments, Madam Clerk, could you read the appointments, please?
We have the approval of the reappointment of Charles Label as trustee for the Rock City Fire Protection District, and the approval of the appointment of Michael Lehman to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Motion to approve both by Ms. Monroe, second by Ms. Bradshaw. Any discussion? Mr. Clay, go ahead.
I'd like to split them up.
Okay.
So I move that we do just one at
Will
a
you
time.
withdraw your motion? Mr. Clay wants to split them up. Okay, both withdraw their motions. So motions to approve the trustee for the Rock City Fire Department.
So moved, if she won't.
Oh, okay, by Mr. Clay and second by Ms. Bradshaw. Any discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Jerry Clay.
Yes.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle. Aye. Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Yes.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
20 unanimous.
20 unanimous. Approval of Mr. Lehman for the Zoning Board of Appeals
Motion to approve?
by Mr. Mark Gittens, second by Ms. Monroe. Any discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle. Aye. Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
19-1.
Okay, 19-1. At this time, we'll move on to Finance. Mr. Helms, go ahead.
Thank you. First up, I have approval of a resolution for the sale of surplus properties. Parcels are listed. There's 3. These are all going back to the original owners. So this is a good thing. I will make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, by Mr. Helms and second by Mr. Miller. Any discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca. Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens. Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye. Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
20 unanimous.
20 unanimous. Go ahead, Mr. Helms.
So the other item on my list is a discussion on the wellness screening, which is in the packet. As all of you know, this health insurance issue with the county is very near and dear to my heart. It was one of the top priorities when I became finance chair. This was originally conducted, as you all may recall, in an effort to get a handle on the increase in claims that we were experiencing, which ultimately led to an increase in premium, which will go into effect in about 60 days. There is a tremendous amount of good information in this report, so I sincerely hope you all take an opportunity to read on it. Very comprehensive. One of the things that really stuck out to me was a critical call follow-up report. You know, we had about 50% participation throughout the county, which is very sad. We even offered to pay, I believe it was $20 each person that participated in this to find out about their health. And to only have 50% is sad. But that speaks to one of the reasons why the premium is going up so high. But this critical care follow-up report actually identified issues with certain employees, and they were able to reach out to them. A critical call nurse did to let them know, which, why wouldn't you want to know? So hopefully we're going to be able to continue this process annually with, again, hopefully participation increasing far better than 50%. But again, if you have the opportunity, please review the report. It's very good. That's all I have on that. I'd be glad to answer any questions regarding that. Otherwise, I can talk about some information coming out of finance.
Ms. Anthony, you have something, or you want to?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify that there were some people who wanted to do the wellness screening, but because they'd already done that through their primary health providers, that insurance wouldn't cover it again. We had to do it through this particular program. So that, I don't know what percentage, but I know there was some willingness from people who just didn't.
Yeah, there was a handful. I don't know the exact number, but I think it was less than 10. Could be wrong. Anyway, the unfortunate part, since we weren't getting very good participation, well, not unfortunate, but we did open it up to individuals who were on the plan, but not necessarily county employees as well. So, if nothing else on that, we are moving ahead with the budget process. I believe your committee was meeting tonight to finalize budget, so thank you for that. September in finance, if you have the opportunity to attend, we'll have real-time adjustments to the budget as finance considers those. We put them up on screen and can adjust them, like I said, real time. And it's a real good tool to have. So if you get the opportunity, please participate. I open it up to all county board members. You don't have to be on the committee to participate. So I believe that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Helms. Mr. Copley, no action items, any information out of your committee?
Yes, Chairman, we reviewed two budgets, proposals by Coroner Todd Welch and EMA Director, Mr. Countryman. We approved both budgets and forwarded to finance. We are looking forward to reviewing the Sheriff's Department budget next meeting. That's it.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to administration. George, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Item number 13 in your packet is the approval of the county administrative contract. We've been talking about that for several months. This past month, Chairman Hanley and I, along with Ms. Newcomer, finished up her review. That was a requirement for this contract. And so now we are ready to present this contract, and I will make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Monroe. Discussion. Mr. Clay, go ahead.
What was the salary of the prior contract, and what's the salary of this one?
I believe this one is 95, and the other one was 75. So if I sent out an email earlier today with the survey, I believe it was, that had, let me find it here, it was the survey of the summaries, the executive summaries of the salaries in the state, and this 95 with her experience puts her in the median range of salaries for the county administrator position.
Thank you. Ms. Bradshaw, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, they chose a median range, and I just appreciate the research that you did on insurance. That's all.
Thank you.
Mr. Wire, go ahead.
On the vacation days, the award of 25 vacation days, is this standard with the other department heads?
This was a carryover from probation, I believe.
Has to do with the years of service.
Yeah, years of service. She was a county employee, So it had to do with her years of service as a county employee. That answer your question?
And that, she's had, what's the total years that she's had?
28.
20?
28.
28, okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Since I haven't seen this, can I just abstain? Is that
You lose your per diem.
okay? Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
No.
William Hadley.
Yes.
18-2.
18-2 passes. Go ahead, Mr. George.
Thank you, Chairman. The second item we have on the agenda here is the approval quote from IT Savvy. That's number 14 in your packet. We did discuss this in committee and approved out of there unanimous. We did ask for a second bid, and that is on page 2 and 3 of this thing, which was higher. So we went with the IT Savvy quote, and this is, I let Mr. Wilkinson explain everything, but this is for some needed supplies for the server upgrades and things like that that we want to do for the county and the networking and security. So, and that bid is $10,381.22. So, I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Monroe to approve. Discussion, Mr. Helms, go ahead.
So I understand correctly that this is actually a lease, not a purchase?
Would you talk into your mic then, please?
This is actually part of the loan that we had from the bank. It rolls into that. We still had 45,000 left in it or so. So that's where it's going to come out of.
Okay, purchase. So the invoice though, because if it's going through the lease, typically those would go directly to the finance director, and the finance director would submit those to US Bank for payment.
I've been doing that. I was asked to do that. So.
He's been sending them through committee.
Okay, that's what I was asking, if they're going to go through the normal claim process
Yes.
with this, or if it's, okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Clay, go ahead.
Was it budgeted?
It's coming out of that money that we
Okay.
budgeted from out of the money.
Any more discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton. Samuel Newton. Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton. Charlie Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
William Hadley.
Yes.
19-1.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. The next item that we have is a policy, or Stephenson County IT policy and procedure. That's number 15 in your packet. Mr. Wilkinson put this together. We reviewed it several times, made some changes, and I will make a motion to approve this with the understanding that we will be approving version 0.3 that we sent out today, and that version has the section and subsections titled that was passed out of committee. That was the only change that was made, that was brought out of committee. That way it's more user friendly for future changes and references and things, so I'll make a motion to approve version 0.3.
Okay, the one that was sent out and that's in the packet is version 1.1. And so there's a 1.2 version also, or one?
Yeah, the one that was sent out today at 2:49 it says version, I don't know if that was supposed to be 3.
No, 0.3.
0.3.
It's not finalized. Once it's finalized here, with a little few tweaks, then it will be version 1.
Yep. So,
okay.
And like I said, the only thing that was changed from what was passed out of committee was adding those subsection numbers, so we can reference it when making changes or conversation or whatever, so.
You make the motion to approve. Okay, do I have a second? By Ms. Monroe. Discussion, Ms. Bradshaw, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to verify for the public that it was verbatim, but that's what he just got done saying, so that's all.
Okay, Mr. Clay, go ahead.
And the purpose behind this is?
Well, we've got part of our liability insurance. We have to have a policy and procedure for our computer equipment, so we will be covered, and also that we keep the system safe. And I think Mr. Wilkinson can add to that if he would like to.
Yeah, you're correct. It's for renewal of cyber insurance this year. That was one of the things that was on the survey, that we had policies and procedures in place by December 1st.
Okay, Mr. Helms, go ahead.
Can I safely assume that our liability company did review this and it will be adequate for what they need?
Not yet. Once the board, then I will send it on to them.
I guess I would rather have it reviewed before we approve it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
So I would make a motion to lay this over.
Second.
Who seconded that motion?
I did.
Okay, Mr. Miller seconded the motion to lay over.
And again, the only reason for that is if they recommend changes, we've already got an approved document that we'll have to bring back anyway to amend. So better to take care of it all at once.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call roll to lay this over till the next board meeting.
Mr. Chairman, regularly scheduled board.
Yeah, regular scheduled board meeting would be September 22nd.
Yes.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Clay.
Is there another board meeting coming up?
Possibly on Monday.
And I believe the date would be September 15th, wouldn't it? Or is it, that's the third Thursday?
No, it's the 22nd because of the Labor Day weekend. We moved everything back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so please clear up the confusion in my head. When is the next board meeting gonna be?
There might be a special meeting on Monday.
This next Monday?
This coming Monday.
This coming Monday.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the regular scheduled one.
Well, the regular scheduled meeting is September 22nd.
That's when this is being laid over.
Yeah, this is being laid over to that date.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Bradshaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Sammy Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deborah Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Eldon Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
20 unanimous.
20 unanimous. Go ahead.
Next up, item number 16. It's a long one here. So approval of the proper ratio of persons to serve as election judges for the November 2022 through March 2024 election cycle in election precincts from the certified list furnished by the county clerk, election authority. I will make a motion to approve so we can discuss.
Okay, and second by Mr. Copeland. Discussion, you go ahead and explain.
Basically, this sets the number of election judges at each precinct, and that is based by Democrat or Republican based on the majority of votes, I believe it was, in each precinct.
Ballots cast, the last.
The ballots cast, there you go. So Ms. Odie has the expert on this thing, so we discussed it and we approved it in committee. I believe it was unanimous.
I see no more discussion. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms. Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
Aye.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Eldon Wire.
Yes.
William Hadley.
Yes.
19 unanimous.
19-0 passes. Okay, any information out of your committee?
Yep, Chairman, thank you. The only other item is, yeah, we did review several budgets, and the only two that we have to review next month are the assessors and the county clerks. Yeah, so, and those will be going to finance after next month's administration meeting. That's all I have on that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dale Diddens, go ahead with court service, no action item, but any information?
Not this time.
Okay, at this time, Miss Anthony, nursing home, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First up, we have the approval of nursing center claims in the amount of $307,036.40. In our committee, we discussed the fund balance only having $54,271.12, and looking to approve that to pay staffing agencies. I guess since that's not what it says, are we still able to do what was said in committee?
Yes, you can say, you can amend this amount and then say the rest of the amount pending funding. You can do that, so you take that amount out to 307.36. So you would have to do some math and make that in your motion.
All right. Give me 1 second. All right. So does that need to be put on the floor before I make the amendment?
No, you can do this whole one thing at one time, you know, is say approval of the amount.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion to approve $54,271.12 immediately, with the remaining $252,765.28 approved pending funding.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Bush. Discussion. Mr. Helms, go ahead.
Just for clarification, can you break down the second part of your motion as far as what that's going to cover? Are you talking about the remaining August AP? Are you talking about what's still due for July that's been withheld?
So that's already been approved, so that wouldn't be in the approval of claims for what's still owed in July.
So I guess help me out with the second part of your motion then.
Okay, so the $252,765.28 is approved pending funding, and looking at the interfund loan that is on the agenda tonight, but what I'll be requesting a special meeting for.
Okay, so again, you're just talking about August claims, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. So in your motion, that defers the other AP, the $128.44.92, correct?
Defers to what?
Well, I mean, it's not part of your motion, is it?
Because we've already approved it. It was approved last month.
Okay, but you said it. Did you say as funding is available for August?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going back to what we had said about the July claims that were deferred, but that was the same thing, that payments would be made upon receiving the revenue.
Correct.
So that's what I'm asking. Are we putting those claims, the July claims, further back? I know they've been approved, but when are they going to be paid? As part of your motion, or is it not part of your motion?
It's not part of my motion. It's intended, all of those are intended to be paid with the interfund loan that I'll be requesting a special meeting for.
Okay.
Any more discussion? Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
No.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
18-2.
18-2, that passes. Go ahead, Ms. Anthony.
Thank you. Next up, we have an approval of an agreement with Impact for Medicaid Cloud Technology. I would so move to approve.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hilton. Discussion. Mr. Clay, go ahead.
What's this gonna cost and when is it gonna be paid?
And this is free service, so there is no cost to it. It is a software technology that's recommended by the state that helps make billing more efficient.
And is the company that's doing the billing for us going to use this?
Yes, they use it in their other facilities as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I see no more discussion. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
19-1.
19-1, go ahead, Ms. Anthony.
Next up, we have an approval of an agreement with Omnicare Inc. for pharmacy product services and consulting, and I'll make the motion and can explain it after it's on the floor.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hilton.
So this is an agreement that I believe, I have my timeline right, but we've had them as a service since 2010, but it required an update. There were some things that were renegotiated, including the cost, and so there's a cost savings with this particular agreement. It was also required because the hope is to have almost like a vending machine for medications placed within Walnut Acres to make, especially for new intakes, medication much more available instead of waiting for them to be shipped from, I believe it was the Quad Cities. So those were the primary reasons that this was renegotiated. The state's attorney has approved it, reviewed it, and said it was something that we could enter into.
Discussion. Ms. Bradshaw, go ahead.
Thank you. I had asked Mr. Filippo if this was something that was standard, and as our committee meeting, we discussed it as not necessarily a housekeeping item, but something that was necessary to keep the nursing home going for the medical services. And I asked if the cost was going to be an increase, and they said actually it was at a slightly reduced cost from the last time we had this contract.
Okay, thank you for that information. Any other discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Samuel Newton.
Aye.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
19-1.
19-1 passed. Go ahead with any information on your committee.
Thank you. So currently the census is 59, which is the highest it's been in some time. The COVID unit is open. We've also talked with FHN to agree to accept COVID positive residents, and so the COVID wing is being utilized. There was a couple things that came up in the last meeting that I think you should be aware of. First off, what we're going to be looking into is going to be on the September agenda is the possibility of a CNA wage increase that came out of the legislation that I've been talking about, and so whether to opt into that program or not. So we're going to be discussing the pros and cons and make a decision based on that. Also, recently learned that there is a law out there that says that you cannot charge anyone less than what the Medicaid rate is. And so right now our private pay rate is less than the current Medicaid reimbursement is. And so we'll be looking at that, a resolution to make sure that we're in compliance with that law. Because the current Medicaid rate is $238 and some change, and we're charging, I think, $195 for private pay. There was also 2 complaints. One of them was unfounded. The other was a verbal abuse complaint that is still currently being investigated. So that's out there. And then last I wanted to touch on, I know last month I offered this, but no one took me up on it. So I'm going to actually bring Mr. Filippo and TCM up, because I know particularly at finance there was lots of questions, and I know that committees on finance or members on the finance committee wanted them here to be able to answer some questions based on the projections that were sent out weekly and why we're not at where they projected July 1st when they came on board.
Would you come up, please?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. A lot of people are counting on us, TCM. A lot of people, also outside this room. And I think it's important that lay some groundwork today, because there seems to be, all types of votes that go on in this committee, this board, and different committees. And I would like to lay some groundwork to give an update on a more detailed basis of what is going on at Walnut Acres, what has transpired between June 1st, our first day, and today. And so if you could bear with me for a little bit, I'm happy to take all kinds of questions, and I will answer all the financial questions, and I will not mislead anyone. And any of the things I'm about to say, I'm happy to give you physical proof of any statement I make up here today. Let's talk about non-financial things first at the facility. There has been a lot that has been going on that no one hears about unless you're working there or tour there. Some of the word others have. And some of these aren't going to be hugely material, but when you start gathering everything together, it really changes the environment that has been at Walnut Acres for the past, let's say, year. And I probably only have a third of the list here. I'm just going to ramble off some things real quick. Starting Tuesday, and this is credit to Shannon. Shannon's doing an awesome job as the administrator, and the rest of the TCM team. I have our chief clinical officers with us tonight, and Denise, our president, and Charles, you've been there also. Tuesday starts dementia training. We've talked about reopening the dementia unit to try and raise census even beyond where it is today. So we have formal training going on Tuesday. It's for the whole building, not just the dementia unit. And we hope to open the dementia unit sometime before the year is over. There are things that actually touch clinical and financial. I mean, here's one, we changed the workflow for insurance reauthorizations, which means that the short-term patients that come to the building are staying a little bit longer, getting a little bit stronger. You know, when the insurance wants to cut them after 7 days, we're fighting it, we're appealing it. So the service is better, the outcomes are better. And from a financial standpoint, we're getting an extra 7 days of revenue. We've redesigned the care coordination, I'll say, so that we are accurately getting paid for the services we're providing. There's all types of assessments that have to go on in the nursing home, and you get reimbursed based off of them. And so many times we're doing more than we're recording. And so in the end, we're not getting reimbursed for what we're doing. So we have changed that. Pharmacy, we talked a little bit about today. Up until the time that this new Omnicare agreement is signed, the building has been, since 2010, being serviced out of Davenport, Iowa. Now the new location will be Des Plaines, Illinois. It isn't that much closer, but the point is that Davenport, Iowa, they roll up the sidewalks at 8 o'clock Monday through Friday. They're closed 5 o'clock on Saturday. They're closed on Sunday. Not a good way, you know, to run a 24/7 healthcare center. So the Omnicare location in Des Plaines is 24/7. It's full service. And by signing this contract at no extra cost, we will get, as Ms. Anthony said, the best description is a vending machine. Instead of being filled with sniffing bars, it's going to be medications. It really helps with, number one, our reputation. We found that the hospitals sometimes were not confident sending us a referral on a Friday admission, because they weren't sure that the patient was going to get his medication until Monday. And we've used this called an Omnicell, this machine in other buildings before, and I don't know if these are good for the first doses for people coming in, but if a physician orders, you know, an antibiotic, you don't have to wait for the pharmacy to get there. You get the first dose there, and the dose comes. The pharmacy delivers the next morning, and it's fine. The nursing software, the electronic medical record system, Michelle is just awesome with that. We've, you know, streamlined some things there and to improve efficiency, so it doesn't take a nurse as long to pass meds or record meds or, you know, do assessments. Overall, there's been just a ton of clinical support, you know, relating to COVID situations, non-COVID situations. I mean, it's a medical facility, things come up every day. And so, you know, we're there to help, and, you know, we get calls every day, which is good. That's part of what we do. So it's what you hired us for. We have to update, there's a new set of regulations by CMS. It's 907 pages long. Effective October 20th, so we will be updating the entire policies and procedures and do training on that. Nothing ever gets easier, of course, but it has to be done. Shannon's done a great job of reducing CNA agency. It's virtually gone. Nurse agency is not so easy until we can pay a higher LPN rate. You know, with reopening the contract, the CBA, with an effective date of January 1st, we're gonna have nurse agency. And there's just no way to get around it. But we do believe we can make a huge dent there after the first of the year, unless we can find a workaround between now and then. We formalized and developed department head rounds, so that our department head is rounding the whole building on a daily basis, and what to look for. How to cut problems off on the front end. Shannon's gonna hate me for this, but you know, we haven't had a complaint survey since Shannon's been there. I'm not to curse yet, but there's reasons for that. Morning meeting is much more formalized, so it's much more productive. overall, the admissions process altogether, there's still more work to be done there. But you're hitting a 59 census today, it's the highest the building's been in quite a while, so it does make a difference. We submitted the PBJ submission timely. That's PBJ is not the Sandwich, it's payroll-based journal, and it tells the states, what our staffing on a daily basis, hirings, LPNs, etc. If you look on the website now, not the overall star, but the staffing star is now at the 3. We were at, I don't know if it was like a non-applicable because it wasn't. This report was not submitted timely last time, so you get 0 credit for your staffing. We rolled out the iCare program. I know we talked about that before. It's a customer service program. It's just a dynamite program that helps with risk management. You cut off issues before they become the issues. We like to say, the moment someone loses their socks, on top of it. We want to catch things very, very early. We've done a competitive rate analysis for the private pay rates. The same thing we talked a little bit about. A competitive analysis for the LPN rates. Some of the time comes, we know what we have to do or put in 2023 budget to be competitive. We have reduced some expenses. Probably close to 10,000 a month in expenses. There's probably more to be had. There's a new quality incentive that every building in Illinois is eligible for effective July 1st. We found out the real calculation. I threw $6,200 out at our committee meeting, but it's really $8,200 a month will be new income for the building effective July 1st. So we should get 2 checks for July and August, somewhere towards the end of August, beginning of September, and then every month. Giving as much justice as internally, and those things trickle down, trickle up, depending on where you are on the ladder there to better results, happier residents, higher reimbursements, less losses, and eventual profits. County So there's a 9-month gap between one year to the next, but the rate is adjusted. To lose money. And it's because you're not doing things that you should be doing. I give an example. Tonight we talked about the private pay rate being $195 a day. The Medicaid rate is $238 a day. So that $238 is the benchmark that HFS downstate says, okay, we're reimbursing you based on, we're going to give you $238 and believe you're going to break even. So if we start charging people less, we're admittingly saying we're going to take a loss. The other side of that coin, you've got to collect the money that you're charging. The money. It doesn't matter. Yeah, the rate doesn't give you credit for not collecting money. And so, there's several county-owned nursing homes that are, have issues in the state of Illinois, and they're all consistent, with these 2 issues, especially the non. Long time. This is the easiest turnaround we've ever seen. There's things in place. There's so many. It just needed and continues to need some attention, some training, got some great staff. It's really important. The building. We're talking about the building. Weeks, really had to get the finance. In the I was there's other phrases. We don't mislead people. It's just not what we committee meeting, nursing home committee meeting, based on the information we had. We collected about 163,000 in 7 weeks. That was 360 projection. So number one, I don't think Excalibur ever collected 463,000 in a 7-week period, but that's another topic. The shortfall of 367,000 and 247. There was no mechanism to bill Medicare. It was just unheard of. The Medicare certified facility. You have Medicare number certified. Never ran into that entire life. There are some specific ID numbers behind the scenes that you have to have in order to bill Medicare. Nowhere to be found. I mentioned earlier that there was a, I forgot what month it was. I think it was early this year, where in this meeting, I believe, it was, we were going to approve Excalibur. Or maybe it was a month after, but Mr. Helms, you had said there's been no Medicare billing since April of 2021. And that held true all the way until last week. And now we know why. We know why Excalibur didn't bill for Medicare either. There was no mechanism. So that 247,000 would be in the bank today if there was that number active and ready, on June 1st when we took over. I don't think we could have predicted that, since it's a situation we've never run into in over 30 years. That money is on its way. We billed for the first batch of 65,000, and you have to do it a little sequentially, so you can only do so much every couple weeks. But so that money's not lost. It's just it's delayed. There were 2 checks from Meridian, which is a Medicaid lookalike company, totaling $86,000 that were processed in error. They weren't processed really because of an error. Happy to provide the proof for it. Being collected, it will be paid. It's another $86,000 that we're paying today. Hard to predict that someone's going to have an error on a bill, and it's their fault. There was $192,000 that we billed what we felt was successfully, and when the envelope came and we opened it, instead of a check for $192,000, there was a notice saying, "We've already paid you this." Hard to predict because it was never recorded as received in the nursing home software. We'll probably run into a little bit more of that hopefully not to this amount, but it's a landmine out there that we just don't know when we're gonna step in it. So in any kind of normal situation, if none of these things happen, and I know about hypothetical, it didn't happen. Logically speaking, it should all happen. We're gonna have another $526,000 in the bank. There was a check dated back to April of April of this year that was received allegedly from Molina for $40,000. Check's nowhere to be found, never cashed. They're going to reissue it in the next 5 days. So these are the types of things that are delaying the cash. At this point, we're at a different phase than we were 3 months ago. 3 months ago, you were sitting in this room deciding whether or not to fund losses. Today, you're deciding whether to fund accounts receivable. Those are two totally different issues. Last year, according to the Medicaid cost report, building had its worst year in the last, I have data up to the last 12 years. Building lost 2.3. That's brutal. The bad news is already behind, nothing we can do about that. The good news is the increase that the building will see October 1st of this year, a lot of that loss will be reflected in that new rate. And we don't know what that new rate is going to be. It's going to go up. And I'm very shy these days, with some comments that have been made about TCM, but we should be happy with the rate increase on October 1st. Now last year they didn't come out with that rate until October 4th. I've been bugging HFS, and the honest answer he gave me was it's probably going to be right around October 1st. It would take a few days, so we'll know before the budget kicks in, but we're not going to know much more in advance. I want to remind everyone here, I don't like doing this. This is not my personality, but for the doubters in the room, we think there's some agenda that we have that is beyond, just being sincere. February of 2022, this is me going back and looking at some of the minutes online. The HFS overpayment was discussed, $430,000. Used an attorney group, and we've used that same attorney before. The attorney stated, without finding the documentation of 2012 and 13, it would be difficult to fight this $430 penalty or audits overpayment. So it was voted and passed at that meeting to go on a 12-month payment plan and pay 5% interest. Motion was approved. We asked to give us a shot at it. You paid us $10, which we haven't billed yet. You paid us $10. I spent 45 minutes on the phone, and several weeks later, that $430,000 was reduced to $120,000. A company, unlike ours, was charged 25%. We charged $10. Happily. Because we're not just here, to gouge. Actually, we're not getting rich off this account. We're here because we actually care about this account. It's kind of out here in our realm, not for profit. Let's really give the help that is needed. So, couple of decisions that we made in the past, I think, that have gotten us into this mess that we've been in, which we are coming out of. And I'll use Excalibur by name. They obviously were not the right company to do billing. They're located in Colorado. They have a second location in North Carolina. I know that the local hospital is using them, but this company, I look at their website, I couldn't tell you what they do. And I'm not saying they don't do collections, because obviously they do if the hospital uses them, but Illinois, it's a matter of asking the right questions. and knowing the questions to ask, and I wouldn't expect anyone in the room here, to be a nursing home expert. But you have found one. And we hope you continue to have some faith in us. I also want to talk to some rumors this week about now, and the rumors have made it to the nursing home. They didn't make it to the nursing home, I wouldn't even mention it up here. But because they made it to the nursing home, about putting the building up for sale. And your decision, you're the board. But I do want you to know what you are getting yourselves into if you make that decision. Number one, finding a company to actually list it is not as easy as you think. You actually had a decent company a year back. The latest one that you brought to be voted upon was actually the same night that we were voting on us to be a management company. It was kind of interesting to us. They're really not a brokerage firm. I'm not saying they're a bad company, but they're not a brokerage firm. They're the company that sets you up to sell. They get your papers in order, and they're very good at that. Again, you go to their website and you look at their 4 examples they put up there. None of them are brokerage type things. They help funding, they help different things. So I'm not sure why that company was brought to the table. And the scary part, it was only a 12 to 10 vote against. That almost passed. And I'm sitting in the audience back there, biting my lip. Not saying you can't list. Again, that's up to you. But, it hurts if you don't vet companies correctly. And going back and looking at some of the minutes also reminded me of some things that we went through in Lake County when we took over the building in Lake County. And the comments came from an attorney that you used, the exact same attorney we used for that deal. A county-owned nursing home cannot just sell. They have to get permission from the state of Illinois Certificate of Need Board. Other nursing homes don't fall under this. So that was the advice we were given, at least in the minutes. It was correct advice in my opinion. So we used the exact same firm, again, that gave you the advice. It took them 3 weeks to do the application. It's a very long application, very detailed. And then another 3 months to get it approved. And that was in a non-COVID world. So who knows, how often the board meets now. So my point there is, if you list the building, it's not as though you can walk away from it in a month or 2. It's going to take 6 solid months. And hanging in there for those same 6 solid months, you can be a lot happier with the results than you have if you don't sell, in my opinion. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. I have other things I can go into, but I'm not. But I want to go into any questions that anyone may have. I'm here.
Mr. Helms, go ahead. You had mentioned that there was overpayment as part of the collective bargaining group. What was done to correct that? Did we recoup any funds, or is that money just lost?
If it were my decision, it would be lost. It's not significant enough to go after, and all we're going to do is get employees upset. And we're talking about thousands still, but we're not talking about tens and hundreds of thousands.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing of it, so I don't know what the situation is. I thought you had said it had been corrected going forward,
right.
Not correcting
Correcting
the issue.
It had to do mostly with the PTO, how it was calculated.
And is that going to be reported to the board?
We just found out about it, so we just.
I'm not suggesting you do it this minute. I'm just asking if that's something that's going to be brought forward, or is the board not going to be given that information? I know no one's asked you, but you have an opinion on it, so I'm just asking your opinion.
Right. So one of the problems with solutions, of course, is understanding what you want us to report. I mean, there are thousands of things that are going on in that building. So, would I have reported? We would have said that it got straightened out, in casual conversation. Would I formally report it to the board? Probably not. But if it's something you absolutely want, and you want to put a threshold on it, $1 penny, or $3,000, or $10,000, anything in those thresholds, we're happy to report it.
Sure. And I'm not suggesting that someone was attempting not to let us know about it. I have concerns about the collective bargaining groups that may learn about it or something else. It's just the unknown and not having surprises. I personally would like to know the situation so it doesn't happen again. Maybe it's corrected with the nursing facility, but if it's an HR issue, that may be a county-wide problem that needs to be corrected as well with the other collective bargaining groups. I guess, well, I do have one other quick question before we move on. Do you know how much TCM or the county has accrued in expenses from TCM so far? Not billed, obviously.
Thank you for asking that, because you jog my memory on one of my other notes in here. I do want to make clear, I know we talked about it before, but any collections that we do for dollars that were tied to before June 1st of this year, so far it's been about 100,000 of old money. It might end up being 800,000, 900,000 in the end. There's no charge for that. There's no lump sum 5% of 900,000 bill coming. That was not part of the agreement. Part of the agreement was June 1st moving forward, and then we would just take responsibility for everything from the past. So we want to clarify that. We did finally submit our first bill, our June bill. It was approximately $19,000. So as the census goes up, that 19, go to 20 or 21, but that's the range we're talking about. So we haven't got paid for anything, so June, July, August. We just billed, so I don't want to say we didn't get paid. We just billed. So June, July, got 2 months accrued, so about 38 to 40,000.
Thank you. That's all I have right now, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Wire, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is the state timely in their Medicaid and Medicare payments?
The state pays about 60 days at this point. What has changed from the past to the present is Medicaid has jobbed out the Medicaid population to other companies. Blue Cross Blue Shield is one of them, Meridian is another. They're kind of like Medicaid lookalikes. And so we have, I think it's maybe 7 or 8 that are true Medicaid patients, and like 25, 26 fall into this other category. And so jobbing out to these other companies, those companies are mandated to pay within 60 days. The state can make up their own stuff. The state is at 60 days right now, but if they were to fall behind, it would only be 25% of our Medicaid population that would fall behind, where in the past, all 100% would. Those Blue Crosses and Meridians, no matter what the state does, they have to pay within 60 days. And as part of the law that was passed on July 1st, if they don't pay us within 60 days, they have to return the money to Medicaid. So it's a much better situation from a cash flow perspective than it's ever been.
Thank you.
Ms. Bradshaw, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Forview. Is this on?
Yeah. Hold on, I'm sorry. Okay, you're on now.
Okay, Mr. Flavio, for the listening public, can you explain the bill sequentially in regards to Medicare payments on resident care?
Yes. I'll lead out with the statement, I'll repeat the statement. Medicare needs to be billed sequentially, and what that means is if I was a patient in your nursing home from January 15th to February 15th, the biller would bill for me January 15th to January 31st, then get paid, then February 1st to February 15th, get paid. If I was in the building for one stay in January, another one in April, another one in July, and we do have people like that, if you bill July 1st, you're going to lose January and April. So that's why, the delay in some of these Medicare bills, every 2 weeks, sometimes 3, is because we have to get verification that the first bill is accepted. It doesn't have to be paid, but it has to be accepted in the Medicare software system. Then we can bill for the second portion of that stay.
Go ahead.
And
Chairman, I had one question for you, sir. First off, just thank you for coming. Let us know what's going on out there. Sounds like there's some good things going on. In finance meeting, you know, we're looking at a $300,000 hole in the wall here. And so that was very concerning to me. And, you know, as you mentioned, it could take 3 to 6 months to sell this thing or longer. So we cannot afford to be losing $300,000 a month. Will be that $2 million that I mentioned in the finance meeting. So hopefully the revenues will start turning around. But I did have one question, please, sir. When you mentioned about the $192,000 that you thought we were getting in the check, because you got an envelope, and they said you paid it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not easily. It took probably a week to track it all down because it wasn't one check for $190. It was actually several checks that equaled $190.
Basically double billed them or something, huh?
No, it's just, well, what happened, we did end up with double billing. You know, someone billed at some point and it was paid, but they recorded the system. So when we look in the system, it looks like it's not paid, so we bill. Okay, so there was a second bill.
I just want to make sure we're back and check that it was actually paid. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Anthony, go ahead.
Thank you. In an email that you had sent out, you had talked about or mentioned a quarterly subsidy payment. And wondering if we've been receiving that. Can you explain that just a little bit? And then if you've gotten any more follow-up or clarification on that?
So go back to that whole concept of the 25, well, say 75% of our Medicaid people are on Blue Cross Blue Shield or some other non-Medicaid plan, and then 25% are on traditional Medicaid. So the rate that is paid by the managed care companies is at $238, but Medicaid doesn't pay that $238. They pay somewhere in the $168 range, and probably off anywhere with $5 or $10. Then at the end of every quarter, they take the difference between $238 and that $168, and they keep 45%. And they take the other 55% and send it to the county where the nursing home resides in. It is addressed to the county, not the nursing home. And different counties, and the county is not under any obligation to apply it to the nursing home. And so some counties, most counties do apply it to the nursing home. I don't know what all the counties do, so I'm not sure what happens when that quarterly payment comes in, and then, that's a payment somewhere, between $25,000, $35,000, I'd say. I talked to our accounting firm up in Whitley, up in Wisconsin. He didn't know anything about it. When looking at the statements online, the revenue statements, the monthly statements, I see a category called IGT, intergovernmental transfer. I don't know if there is something there. I don't know if that or not, just kind of just because statement we have 30 headed for next week. And it's like, we better ask the question, is this actually getting applied to nursing home? Is it being received? So I don't know much more, but it certainly would be, it's something we need to know. You need to know as a county how you want to apply it.
Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Hammond.
Did you say it's about $25,000 a quarter that we should be receiving?
Correct.
That should be very easy to find then. And I'm assuming, and I don't know, but that would be sent directly to the nursing home. I would assume it's not. You know that for a fact.
That's what
I'm not suggesting it sits out there, but most everything seems to go to the nursing home. But you're suggesting it's coming to her office?
I don't know. I'm being told by the accounting firms it is addressed to the county and not the nursing home. And it's the county's money. That's why it's not addressed to the nursing home. Now, could someone have changed the address somewhere along the line and it is going directly to the nursing home? That's possible.
I don't know, but that kind of money should be easily found, especially if it's unbudgeted revenue. It's
And it
should parked somewhere.
Right. And it would have been bigger dollars as you go back in time because there were more straight Medicaid people and these managed care companies weren't as prevalent. So, yeah, right now it should be 25 to 35 range, but
That's not a revenue line in the nursing home budget, so it should be really easy, $100,000 a year. Should be no problem to find that.
okay, great.
Okay, Mr. Diddens, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, thank you for coming in tonight. We really appreciate it. There were some comments made at the finance meeting that we weren't getting the numbers that our financial department needed to do what they need to do. So I'm just assuming that our financial department needs to reach out to you, because you sound like you're certainly willing to work with us, obviously. So I guess we just need to reach out and find out and tell you what we're looking at, basically, right?
Yeah. And you're going back and looking at the cash projection statement. Again, it gets updated every week with, today, this week's reality, the next week's reality. So there's an actual column and then still a projection moving forward. But each week there's a new actual. And so when I went back and looked, there were, I think, 5 entries, let's call them, that were inaccurate. One of them, and only one, it was actually the 282,000 the bills that were approved tonight. We had in next week's column, the August 26th column, rather than the August 19th column. And so, again, honest mistake. Honestly, when we did this originally, June 23rd, we didn't think the board meeting was until the end of the month. Whatever, we screwed it up. We were off a week. The other 5 entries actually worked the other way. When we first got some of the information, we thought the Social Security transfer and the IMRF was per payroll, when it's really monthly. So we overstated. We had too much early. Actually, some of it was never going to be paid. So again, just honest mistakes or honest, minor errors in my mind. And as we move forward, the more information, right, we communicate back and forth. When does this get paid? When does that get paid? Like we just added the monthly loan payment to the state into the cash projection because finally we knew when it was. So every week that goes by, we'll learn more. Especially once we got past a lot of landmines already, so hopefully there's going to be less and less landmines.
But I know that one of the comments was we need to know, we have this many bills and this much revenue. If you say we might get, you might get $400,000, but when we have bills to pay, so I guess we just need to get that straightened out, get that clarified, so got what they need. So,
right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Clay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What you were just discussing 5 minutes ago about that 20,000 surplus or whatever, is that something that actually has to be billed by us, or it just automatically happens?
It just shows up. Yeah, the
It
state is aware that you're registered as being eligible to get it, and every quarter they send a check. It's a paper check. Even if we have EFTs, it's coming one day, that payment is always a paper check.
Okay, thank you.
If I counted right, counting today and the day you took over, you've been managing this nursing home for about 79 days. We realize that we don't just have a billing issue, but a collection issue with Walnut Acres. And we know that you took on a moving target. We've talked about that before. Do you think you have the handle on the billing and collection issues better now that you've had 79 days turning this ship around?
In every category, yes, except for private pay. Private pay is still an absolute mess. And it will probably take a couple months to straighten it out. There's so many families that we called, and not necessarily families of existing patients, but of past patients, and say, we say it in a nice way, but you owe the building, $7,500, and the answer is, I have no idea what you're talking about. My mother was never a private pay patient, and so we're continuing to unravel that. There will definitely be some write-offs in that category, I'm sure, but the private pay is an absolute mess. Not with the existing patients that we have in the building, but with the past.
And may I continue, Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. And I know one of the things we talked about on the committee is to increase census. And I can see that you're actually following through with some of your plans to increase census with the help of Ms. Harris also and some of her grand ideas, good ideas, I should say grand. So we see that census is slowly climbing. You're up to 59 today. At one time, we had discussed as a board what a break-even number would be as far as being able to bring in enough revenue I hate to make it a money thing, but we have to run this like a business. So how many beds must be occupied approximately in order to hit a break-even or a profit margin?
So I'd like to use a fictitious October 1st new rate to answer the question. We have already answered the question today. We're probably looking at about 70. And if after October 1st, we're potentially looking at a number of like 65, which is very attainable.
And one more thing, I know you're working on the Alzheimer care unit training, and I know we've talked in the past too about that would increase the numbers fairly quickly, but that you're going to try to ease into that. Is that correct?
Correct. I mean, we still have to balance staff with admissions. So if we were to get 25 people moving tomorrow, we couldn't do it. We need the staff. So with the memory care units, we're talking about a different strategy of actually trying to get no different than a maybe assisted living that's about to open. To maybe get commitments from 8 people turned in, so we can gear up staff-wise and literally start one day with 8 people. It's better financially to do it that way. It's better from a safety perspective, and again, by the time we train everyone, and if we can get past this LPN issue where we can actually better LPNs, I think that will allow us to move quicker to open that unit again. But we truly have identified through, again, talking to different referral sources and other people that there is a need for a good memory care place, in Freeport. The one building that we run today up in Bay County, it has a 50-bed memory care unit that is both certified by the Illinois Department of Public Health, but also I think there may be one other in the state that has those certifications. So it's a strength of ours. We have several strengths, but that's in our wheelhouse, and we think there's a need, not 50, but to run on 12-bed unit or so. Actually, get our census in the 70s, which will make things a lot easier.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Filippo, I got one quick question that would kind of help me on this. A while back, you were talking about paper checks, and I know paper checks come in slow. And you said eventually we would get rid of those paper checks and be getting electronics checks eventually from a certain company. I mean, from Medicare or Medicaid. Could you explain?
Sure. We have applied, you have to apply, so we've applied to all the MMEI and Medicaid lookalikes programs and with Medicaid, and so there's nothing else for us to do on our end, but that process can take, I've seen it take as long as 6 months, I've seen it 3 months. I don't know why it takes that long. So we've done everything we can at this point.
But eventually paper checks come slow, but eventually we get that, we'll get our money faster then, is what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, well, and it solves other problems too, because again, this one paper check got lost for $40,000. You don't lose the FTs, so it's definitely the way to go. And so, somewhere between, say 3 months from now. Hopefully that's the expectation when we get the EFTs instead of paper checks.
Okay, Mr. Clay, go ahead.
So if I understood right, you said the Medicaid lookalikes are paying $238 a month. Correct. Medicaid is paying what?
They're paying somewhere around $168, and then they give another $35 in that quarterly check. But they're keeping a piece of that pie, which is why it's the best strategy is to not have straight Medicaid patients. You want to move them over to these MMAI companies. And it's not hard to do that. It's just that you're always going to have some Medicaid patients, because if someone were to go on hospice and they were on like that Blue Cross Blue Shield lookalike, as soon as you go back on hospice, as soon as you sign up for hospice, you go back to traditional Medicaid.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions? I see none. Thank you very much for coming up.
Thanks.
Okay, Miss Anthony, hold on.
I thought you said,
Well, I should go on.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I thought you said that, were there any questions before we continued? I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, I mean, if I can filibuster until October 1st, I'll take you up on that, but right now.
It'll cost you.
There's no world around standing.
Okay, thank you very much.
I just wanted to also state, certainly, if there's any questions that anyone has about what's going on at the nursing home, you can certainly reach out to either myself or Ms. Harris and get that information. There's open door all the time from my experience. But I also wanted to talk about the interfund loan that we discussed and approved through the nursing home committee earlier this evening to help cover the expenses while we're waiting for this revenue that Mr. Filippo talked about. It did get emailed out to you all shortly before the meeting. So I'd like to ask Mr. Hadley if he could have a special meeting to address that issue. And I would actually suggest it maybe be Tuesday, since we're waiting on some legal opinions regarding it.
Yeah, how many people can make a Tuesday meeting? Let's say we did it at 5:30. Would the people like to do it at 5:30, 6:30? So let's say, how many people could do Tuesday at 5:30? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we have 14. Okay. How about 6:30 on Tuesday? Okay. Well, we'll do 5:30 Tuesday. Then we'll be sending out our agenda tomorrow sometime, and do 5:30 Tuesday at the county boardroom. Anything else, Miss Anthony?
That's all, thank you.
Okay, we will move on to planning and development. Mr. Bush, Mr. Newton's gone, it looks like, so we have a couple action items. I know Mr. Helms has worked very hard on these 2 action items.
Yes, was the first one is the resolution for intergovernmental agreement with Germany to enter into intergovernmental agreement for the Northern Illinois Land Bank Authority, and I so moved.
Okay, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hilton. Discussion. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I pushed my button.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Clay. Go ahead.
So what does the Northern Illinois Land Bank Authority do?
Well, it's more or less a real estate, they take care of property, buy property that's blighted, to take it and rehab it, and when someone could come in and buy the property and possibly get it back on the tax roll. But at the same time, they not just only buy the property, they have to have a certain deadline to meet to be able to get their property up there and going again. But it has to be with the intergovernmental agreement, it also is going in with Boone County, and got another county. But.
And the funding for this comes from where?
It comes, well, through Northern Illinois Land Bank. I'll tell you what, this is something that Scott Helm has been pushing over to Scott Helm.
Go ahead, Mr. Helm.
There is no cost to the county on this. So what actually happens is these are properties with delinquent taxes that have never been paid, okay? So the trustee agent is being changed from the county to the land bank. No funds are changing hands in that regard. Okay, so the whole premise of this is to get a pool. Winnebago County, City of Rockford, Lee County. There's several counties that are involved with this, okay? We will have a seat on the executive board as far as voting, and that's what you do. You get a list of these properties and you vote to have the deed transferred over to the land bank. Then what they do is they market those properties, and I'm really going 1,000 foot here, 10,000 foot here, get them back on the tax rolls as soon as possible. So they will turn them over to investors who will actually purchase the property, rehab it, get it on the tax roll.
And so where does their funding come from to do that?
You don't want it.
Yeah, I do.
Grants.
Great, thank you. That's what I thought.
I could have said just vote no.
I'll get to the bottom.
Okay. I see no more discussion. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
She stepped out. She's coming in the middle. Where is she?
Hold on,
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helm.
Aye.
Sally Bradshaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
William Hadley.
Yes.
Sam has left the meeting.
Okay. Well, so that passed. Go ahead, Mr. Bush.
Next one is just more or less is just an agreement and bylaws on the land bank, but I'm got a question here. I'm seeing on here saying the 14th day of January 2019.
I'm trying to. Where's that? Is that the one-page one?
It's at the top of page one.
It's up on the top of the page.
Well, it says adopted 18th day of August of 2022. Hold on here. Let's go down. Yeah, the introduction.
Well, I have said 14th day of January 2019.
Oh,
Yeah, that,
go ahead, Ms. Newcomer.
It's the same document that's used for every entity that joins the group. So if you keep looking, the signature pages have dates reflective of when they joined.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Helm.
I may just add that these agreements are not negotiable. There is no amending of this. So in case anyone's getting an idea of maybe changing some dates, that will not allow us to enter into this agreement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Helms. Any more questions on this one? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Do we have a motion?
We didn't
on
have
that?
a motion. So moved.
Okay, by Mr. Bush, a second by Mr. Dale Diddens. Any more discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton. Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Copeland.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Elvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Bradshaw.
Aye.
Sorry. Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
William Hadley.
Yes.
$17-1.
17-1, that passes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Can I just make a comment on planning and development?
Yeah, go ahead.
With the last big rainstorm we had, there was extensive damage to the Jane Addams Trail. And we met today and we talked about, we had a rough estimate of about $40,000 to repair it. There's a big section of Siler Mills to almost up to Orangeville that is completely closed. Trail's just, a lot of it's gone. So, just wanted to let everybody know that, we're trying to figure out how we're gonna pay for the repairs, so, something might be coming down the line.
I thought somebody told the EMA that you guys have insurance for that trail.
No.
Okay, with somebody.
No insurance.
No insurance at all.
Not for that.
Okay.
For the structures like the porta potty or the shelter house, there's insurance for that, but not for the trail itself, or the bridges, actually.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you for bringing that up. I know that was an issue and, working through AMA. I just wanted to add, Mr. Helms mentioned something, and I want to thank him for, going to, this meeting in Rockford and, working, to get this put on our agenda through planning and development. He did mention that there is an appointment to the board, and, I will bring that appointment to next month to the board and get that approved. Okay, anything else, Mr. Bush, out of your committee?
Nothing else.
Okay, Public Works, would you go ahead, Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before us this evening, we have a resolution to hire Fair Lamb to assist in the planning and development of the improvements on McConnell Road. It came to my committee, but did not pass unanimously due to some concerns regarding where the funding is coming from. Grant, yes.
Who was that?
Let the minutes reflect. So with that, I would make a motion to approve this.
Second by Mr. Jordan. Any discussion? I see none. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Garrett Miller.
Aye.
Jerry Clay.
No.
Ronnie Bush.
Aye.
Deb Devine.
Aye.
Rebecca Quiggle.
Aye.
Charles Hilton.
Aye.
Casey Anthony.
Aye.
Dale Diddens.
Aye.
Kurt Cochran.
Aye.
Erica Monroe.
Aye.
Ron Flegel.
Aye.
Kelvin Wire.
Yes.
Larry Jokers.
Aye.
Nicole Baker.
Aye.
Scott Helms.
Aye.
Sally Brashaw.
Aye.
Daniel Rohr.
Aye.
Mark Diddens.
Aye.
William Hadley.
Yes.
17-1.
17-1, okay, passes. And, any more information on Public Works, Mr. Miller?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, Public Works met earlier this evening, and we passed the budgets that are in the black. They will be going to finance next month. Road work continues, and on an animal control note, the emu is still at large around German Valley.
Edward.
I don't know if we have a name for him yet.
I've seen a book about Edward.
Edward the,
I think my kid's got it.
Gotcha, good to know. Well, now that we've named the email, I suppose we can't butcher it. I'm happy to discuss any other issues regarding Public Works if anyone has any.
Mr. Helms, go ahead.
It's been a while since I've been to Public Works, but has anything come from that bipartisan infrastructure law where we had the Deputy Undersecretary of Transportation do that webinar, not webinar, but that meeting? Has the county applied for any extra grants? Sorry.
We are aggressively pursuing several grants, but the person that really needs to answer that question is in the back of the room. So if you'd like Mr. Rasmussen to come up, he can give you a little bit of an update.
Thanks.
Okay.
We're applying for two different grants that came out of that bipartisan bill. One is a bridge improvement program. We turned in a grant application for that in July. We'll wait to see, and if it's available, then we'll, our idea is to repair any of our functionally deficient, structurally obsolete structures in the county, anything with load limit, anything with deck pop-outs. It's our plans to address all those in the county if we're successful and get some money for that. The other one is the safe streets and safe streets for all. That funding, that application is due in September, and we're going after an action plan. As Stephenson County, we don't score very well for the judging criteria for the action plan, so we're going on a regional with 4 or 5 counties in the region. The Blackhawk Hills is actually helping us with that grant application, and we'll score a lot better with that. So if we're successful, the action plan funding for that is available, then we'll pursue funding through that bipartisan bill.
Great, thank you. One other quick question. A lot of people in my district are asking about the state bridge in Cedarville, when that might be completed. I know originally it was October, but heard rumors may be sooner than that.
It looked pretty good. I was out there a couple of days ago and met with the field engineer out there, and he wouldn't give me a timeline, but they just poured in the last section of the roadway. Looking at it, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot left, so that should be opening up fairly soon. McConnell Bridge, they poured the deck on that. They're doing some riprap. That bridge should be opening up. I'm the same way. I'm not going to pine the contractor down to a due date. That should be opening up pretty soon. Hopefully, because we're going to be closing Apokie Road south of McConnell pretty soon. So.
And then once that bridge on 26 is complete, can you just talk about what the process is to go back to the state to repair any county roads that may have been damaged?
Well, we'll go back to them. They videotape that good neighbor route beforehand, and we'll go around with them afterwards. It's actually our plan to do a cold place recycling on that road for next year. So ultimately, what I'd like to do is say, okay, give us money, and we'll fix it next year through the CIR. So that'll take care of our match for it.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. I see none. Thank you very much. Okay. We will
Members that
move.
live on the detour around that bridge.
Okay, we will move on to public comment at this time, and I will go to Zoom. Anybody on Zoom that would like to make public comment, please raise your hand. You see anybody that's done? Once again, anybody on Zoom that wants to make public comment, please raise your hand. Okay, we will move on to the audience. Anybody in the audience that wants to make public comment at this time? Okay, new business. Anybody, Mr. Wire, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the Epoch News, there was a Democrat primary in a Georgia county that was machine totaled, and after the totals were in, the third place candidate noticed that there were 0 votes in most of the precincts for her, so she requested a recount. And the manual recount resulted in the first place candidate losing 1,500 votes. The third place candidate gained 2,600 votes, switching the two positions so that the first place candidate became the third place candidate, and the third place candidate became the first place candidate. And I sent the article to our county clerk and asked her, could this happen in Stephenson County? And this is her reply. I'm not sure what kind of election equipment these people have, but I see no possibility of this happening here. We account for every application for a ballot, every ballot voted, and match the numbers to the count of our tabulator. For early voting, we do that process every evening. At polling locations, the election judges check their numbers hourly, confirm the number to their application. At the end of the day, they have to account for the number of ballots that they took to the polling place, how many ballots were voted, and how many ballots were not voted and returned to our office. When the judges return everything election night, we have a team of judges that review and confirm the statement of ballots to verify the numbers are correct. I truly believe that we have not only the safest, but the best voting equipment, software, and vendor in the country. Stephenson County for picking the lead. I think that says a lot for Stephenson County.
Okay, thank you very much for that comment and everything. I see none new business, but a motion to adjourn until 6:30 Thursday, September 22nd, our regular board meeting. Motion by Mr. Hilton. Second by Mr. Dale Diddens.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Should that be stated differently since we're holding a special meeting?
Well,
Doesn't make any difference.
this is our regular meeting, the special meeting is different.
Got it.
Yep. Okay, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?